Today, I am proud to say that we are introducing the Galaxy S to the United States.
It's crazy to think, time flies. It's been 7 years since the original Samsung Galaxy S Vibrant was announced in March of 2010. Since then, Samsung has been hard at work providing the newest, latest, greatest technology in all of their Galaxy phones. So today I wanted to put that into perspective. I've done this with the iPhones, but on the Galaxy side, things move a little bit faster, so it is so shocking to compare the very first Samsung Galaxy S to the new Samsung Galaxy S8. The amount of change that's happened in 7 years compared to the 9 years for Apple is astonishing. So I wanted to document this moment on camera and show you guys where we started and where we are. As far back as I can remember, the Samsung Galaxy series phones were considered superior to Apple's on paper, with specs. In terms of build quality, they were always inferior. They were made of plastic, where Apple had these high quality materials, excluding the 3G and 3GS. The Galaxy series just felt cheap. That's certainly changed now with the Samsung Galaxy S8. Just look at that beautiful body. But in this comparison, we're going to be comparing not only hardware, but also the Android OS experience itself. So Samsung likes to put its own skin on top of Android. We're going to be seeing how that is, how it's like to use both of these devices in day-to-day life, and a lot of things I like and don't like about them. And before I get into that, I just wanted to take a moment to show you the iPhone side of this. So we've got the original iPhone 2G series and the new iPhone 7. These phones look so similar. iPhones have always had pretty premium materials, but not much has changed. That's why I'm so excited to show you guys the Galaxy side. This is a world of difference. This is a company that completely changes everything every single time, just because they can and don't want to hold back. Now, hardware. So the Samsung Galaxy S is a pretty small phone, as you can see. Small screen, small phone. Build materials aren't that great. It's plastic, and it's got this hump on the very bottom of the phone, which is very off-putting. It's not completely flat like the Galaxy S8. So size-wise, they are pretty different, and this is just the S8 variant. The S8 Plus one is much bigger even. They do keep these same ports, so you've got the headphone jack and USB, except it's been replaced with USB-C now. With the Galaxy S, you do get that super cool sliding micro USB door. So Samsung realized with time that materials had to change. Eventually, they started getting more serious by adding more metal, and eventually now with the S8, you get a completely all-glass design. It's beautiful. It also means a very sleek and thin looking device. Take a look at this. The S is so chunky compared to the S8. Probably the biggest change on the Samsung Galaxy S8 is that massive display. It swallows up the Galaxy S whole. It's got those curved edges. It looks absolutely stunning. Samsung really went all out on that one. So the display on the Galaxy S was never a bad display. It was considered to be far superior to the iPhones. It's an AMOLED. It's 4 inches, 480 x 800 pixels, at a very good pixel density compared to the competition. The Samsung Galaxy S8 is really still one of the best. It was voted the best display currently available. And just to give you some perspective here, so that's the Galaxy S display on the Samsung Galaxy S8. If I were to actually shrink it to real size, it would just fit in that tiny little square on the bottom of my Galaxy S8. That is absolutely stunning. In fact, you can fit that almost 12 times into the Galaxy S8 display. It is so sharp, so beautiful. If I were to reverse that, that's what that would look like right there. The Galaxy S8 display really shines when it comes to colors and brightness. It's set at about 70% right now. The Galaxy S, the first one, is set at 100%, and it still feels like it's set at 20%. It is so dim in comparison. Not only that, the colors just don't pop the same way. Sure, it has an AMOLED, but it's really not equal to the newer ones now. The true yet sad thing that remains today about Samsung phones is two things. One, the TouchWiz is horrid. Samsung should just get rid of it and ship with stock Android, pay the licensing fee, just do it. Two, these things never get updates. They'll get 1 or 2 big ones in their lifetime, and that's it. Unlike Apple, these things will stay on the software that they came with most of the time. So the Galaxy S came with Eclair 2.1 and only went up to version 2.2, 2.3 in some countries. So that is just something that needs to change. As much as there is different between these devices, there's a lot that's similar as well, I did notice. First off, there are no physical home buttons on either one of these. So the Samsung Galaxy S8 has them on screen, The S has them capacitive down below the screen, so they started with that and they're back to it on the latest Galaxy. They both had different reasons for not having a home button. The S8 wants a cleaner look, the S needed more screen space. Thank goodness the S8 has a micro SD slot, as there was a period when the Samsung phones didn't, but the first one does have it as well. The camera lens on the back isn't raised. I mean, it is just barely, but not much. It looks very clean on both. Both phones do have an AMOLED display, although it's far superior on the S8, of course. And getting to actual power, the Samsung Galaxy S at its time was incredibly capable. Now the S8 is lagging behind Apple, which is a little bit surprising. So it's powered by a Samsung-made CPU, 1 GHz, 512 megabytes of RAM. That was easily double what iPhone had to offer at the time. So I ran a Geekbench on the new one and found one online on the old one, as I couldn't install Geekbench anymore. And this is how they compare. The old one, of course, didn't have a multi-core processor, so there's really only one score. And attempting to use the S today is an exercise in frustration. Comparing it to the S8 in web load page speed, it's frustratingly bad. I mean, it loads it almost instantly, but then to get it working, it takes at least 10 to 30 seconds. CNN was a nightmare. I mean, on the S8, it's pretty much maybe 5 seconds right there. On the S, it just continues and continues and continues, and it is so slow. And when it does load, sometimes it'll be broken or the incomplete site. Launching apps, I started with the camera. I was able to get a pretty considerably fast speed on the S. It was maybe a second or two behind. Google Maps, though, oh man, it just kept loading and never really finished loading on the Samsung Galaxy S. On the S8, it was near instant. So trying to use apps for the most part is going to be a frustrating experience. So here's some fast racing app. Let's go ahead and check it out. Some PS1 console era graphics here. I can see the individual polygons on these. It is so bad. Look at the draw distance, the buildings randomly popping up when the GPU decides to do its job finally. And I'm sure you guys can agree that playing older games now, you would remember them back in the day as being so amazing. They looked so good. But now you play them and you're like, what? How could I have played this vomit? It's seriously bad. So the Samsung Galaxy S8 though, wow, not only do you get more screen space to play with, the draw distance is amazing. You get all these textures, all these cool animations. Things have really changed in 7 years, you know? It's not only the phone, it's the game developers as well. So graphics-wise, it is night and day difference between these phones. I actually ran an Antutu benchmark to test the GPU performance. I got a score of 3,946 compared to 163K. Quite the difference. And next, checking out the cameras. The Samsung Galaxy S actually has a 5 megapixel shooter versus 12 on the S8. At the time, that was quite impressive. So on the S8, you do get a huge screen, so it's very easy to navigate, it's easy to take pictures with. On the S though, things are a little bit cramped, and of course, the quality isn't as good. Trying to find that icon alone was pretty challenging with that theme. But anyways, launching up the camera app, it seems it's unable to do vertical photos or video, which for whatever reason is pretty annoying here. Anyways, taking a picture, this is how it works. It just opens it up for you every single time. Not sure if there's a setting for that. But at the time, compared to the iPhone 3G, I think was a competitor, this thing had so many modes and settings that you could change in here. You could even change the picture quality, video quality, and did I mention it records video? The iPhone 3G at the time couldn't even record video, so there was a lot to change in there. Hey buddy. I'm not going to tell you which one is the Galaxy S or the S8. I'm sure you guys can figure that out on your own. But the quality isn't bad. It really was watchable. It was very grainy and the audio was pretty bad. But still, you can make out what you were doing. I think it was 360p. So yeah, things just washed out. The camera sensor itself wasn't able to pick up colors very well due to how small it was, I think. So side by side, looks pretty decent. Things are a little washed out, and the stabilization is not good as there is no stabilization motor in the camera. But you know, it's hard to complain for a 7-year-old camera. Now, low light, I wanted to show you guys. This is where the S8 really shines. You can make out so much detail on these chickens. What a world of difference here. Uh-oh. And the colors pop, even though there aren't many in here. I'm amazed at how good the camera is. Now, the Galaxy S may not take good video, but it takes fantastic photos. It's hard to tell that this is coming from a 7-year-old camera. It even has some bokeh in there. That's amazing. So colors are a little washed out. You don't get much detail in the colors or the actual picture quality. but still, I'm a little impressed at how well it did. The Galaxy S8 though, pretty standard for smartphones to take some amazing pictures, and this is at max zoom. It had more detail on the S8, of course. Now there is a front-facing camera. It's not capable of video, but there is one, and the iPhone didn't get one until the iPhone 4, so it was pretty capable. It's really hard for me to talk crap about the Galaxy S because it's really keeping up very well. Now, detail on the front-facing wasn't as good, but still. And lastly, I wanted to mention battery life. So the battery was removable on the Galaxy S. One advantage it has over the S8, and the S8 actually has almost double its battery capacity at 3000 milliamps. That one though is not replaceable. You would have to take the whole phone apart in order to do so. So guys, that's 7 years of Samsung Galaxy S. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It wasn't easy to make, but the results were amazing to see. This is so much more impressive than the iPhone original to the iPhone 7. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great day. Be sure to check out the iPhone version if you haven't. Peace.